with Scott Briggs. But we're really anxious to have them with us, and we hope that you'll mark it on your calendar too. It's some wonderful entertainment. These guys are really terrific, which is not to take away from anybody we have tonight, but I wanted to make a point before the evening got going, because this is kind of a special event. They aren't in the area that often. So, I think that about covers it as far as business goes. He told you everything you need to know about the bistro back there. The washrooms are also back to that side. If you would, a warm welcome for our own Helen Lindquist. She's going to get us started right now.
I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy
Hey ho, I don't know, why don't we just do the show? Hey ho, I don't know, why don't we just do the show? Hey ho, I don't know, let's go ahead, we'll do the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, Andy.
Live from the Starline Factory in downtown Harvard, Illinois, it's the Woodstock Roundup radio program. I'm Don Robertson, welcoming you to the Roundup. Tonight on our show, we welcome musical guests, songwriter and storyteller, Andy Andrick. The eclectic, eccentric musical stylings of Big Fish. This month's featured artist in our New American Songbook, John Hartford. And featuring, as always, our incredible house band, the Starliners, with Merv Collins on guitar and the superhuman Les Irvin. Thanks for being here. Now sit back and relax and welcome the host of the Woodstock Roundup radio program, Joe Pez.
Thank you, Don. Thanks, everybody. It's really nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Y'all recovered from the election? Let's see. Everybody raise their hands. Anybody recover from the election? All right, we'll get to that a little bit. I want to welcome you all tonight to kind of this special version of the Starline building. This place gets better and better every time we come out here. It's our tasty, cozy, and great smelling minor banquet hall and new cafe known officially as Bistro 1883. Everybody say it with me, Bistro 1883. There you go. So that's who's serving the food back for you there tonight, along with Erin and her gang. To, of course, beautiful downtown Harvard, Illinois, and to tonight's special post-election Veterans Day edition of the Woodstock Roundup radio program. As Don mentioned, we have a great show tonight. All the people he mentioned, what he didn't say is that, along with Big Fish, always eccentric, we also have Andy Andrick with us tonight. Now, Andy is the master of the understated and knower of most songs up until, around when? Britney Spears, I would guess. Once Britney Spears came in, that was probably the end of it. We also have a budding new graphic artist with us tonight, and someone you might recognize. So he's making his artistic debut here on the show tonight, so I think you'll really enjoy him. I had the hardest time putting the show together this week. First, I was Ebola panicked into running out for my annual flu shot. I've done that year after year after year after year, and I've never had any problem. This year, of course, I get the flu shot, I get sick. Now, of course, I didn't get deathly ill, but I'm down for a few days. So, moral of the story is get your flu shot. Just plan a few days off around it. We'll soon be celebrating Veterans Day, which, of course, is this next Tuesday, November 11th. And we'll be devoting a part of our show tonight exclusively to them. But while waiting out the election results on Tuesday, where we saw what seemed to be every Democrat in the country, with the exception of guys named Frank, Franken, or Franks, when they all got clobbered, yet every social program, short of marijuana for the small, was approved, I was just gobsmacked. And the only conclusion I can come to is, we love the sermon more for the middle class, fairer for the middle class. We just don't trust the preacher. Now, a lot of people headed straight for Facebook and other social media, and the venting there goes on while we speak. Which I think is great news, because it's nice to know there's another function of Facebook other than Candy Crush and Farmville. Me, I write. I write, and I write, and I write until my thoughts are wrung out and I reach my peaceful place, my version of the way it ought to be. That begins to fill my noggin, and as it does, I begin to hum to myself. In the back of my house where my hound dog used to lay, I creep up to the loft and I tuck myself away. They're preserved like a vault, like the ads used to say, is an old friend who calms me on a rainy, rainy day. Oh, I believe in Hubert, the Harris lad. Believe in Ringmaster Ned, the crazy things he said, to Phrase and the duck and the rabbit with the fez. Oh, I believe in a Hubert, the Harris lad. Yes, you know, I want to go back to when everyone was happy. You know, when I had plenty of money and I didn't feel so crappy. You know, and everything wasn't just this great big debate, because we knew they were just wrong and that we were just great. It was a time when I knew just who had said what, and I could tell from the way they walked that they thought enough of the way it should go and the things we should see. And it was just like it had been on TV. Oh, I believe in Hubert, the Harris lad. Yes, I believe in Hubert, the Harris lad.
Hubert the Harris Lion and Harris Banks US are trademarks and fully owned subsidiaries of the Bank of Montreal, Canada. When visiting Montreal, stop by and say hello, eh? And maybe take out a little loan at a little chateau just outside our fair city of Montreal. That just could be the right time for you to make your move.
Oh, I believe in Hubert, the Harris lad. We've got a great show for you tonight. As I mentioned, Andy Andrick is here. But our first act comes from a place best known for the geometric shape that permeates the center of their town. And no, I'm not talking about that crazy thing off the highway in Chemung. If you would, a warm welcome for Big Fish.
How'd you do? And if
tortilla, you'd have had a tortilla. If I knew you were coming, I'd have made a tortilla. How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? Well, I don't know where you came from, 'cause I don't know where you've been. But it really doesn't matter. Grab your chair and fill your bladder and dig dinner out in. If I knew you were coming, I'd have made some spaghetti. If I'd have been ready, you'd have had some spaghetti. If I knew you were coming, I'd have made some spaghetti. How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? And if I knew you were coming, I'd have made some lasagna. Laid it on ya, a plate of lasagna. If I knew you were coming, I'd have made some lasagna. How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? Well, I don't know where you came from, 'cause I don't know where you've been. But it really doesn't matter. Grab your chair and fill your bladder and dig dinner out in. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. Baked a cake. Baked a cake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do? How'd you do?
Baked a cake. I didn't know we were doing songs about food. When did that happen? Now, baked a cake, is this mostly because it's getting on the holidays and it's getting cold and everybody's starting to bake? That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Now, so have you got another food song?
No, this is more about the plight of a lot of us 99%ers.
We're gonna wish we had the cake, aren't we? We're gonna want the cake.
That's right. This is called Further in the Hole. Oh, my income is short of outcome. When Friday rolls around, I'm broke and some. What I'm making, somebody's taking. Here I go, a little further in the hole. I'm disgusted, my pickup's busted. My mode of locomotion's been adjusted. I'm all through riding, now I'll be striding with a poor boy stroll, a little further in the hole. My life's a never-ending IOU. I need a change of luck to pull me through, but the way I'm spent keeps me descending like a mole, a little further in the hole. It's confusing, if not amusing. Though I'm looking for a job, can't win for losing. I just say yes, man, to the IRS man. Throw my bankroll a little further in the hole. I've sunk about as low as I can be. here I go, a little further in the hole. Nothing left to show, a little further in the hole.
I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
This portion of the Woodstock Roundup is underwritten by Leanscapes Consulting, continuous improvement, design, implementation, and support for McHenry County business. For more information, they're at leanscapes.com.
Our next guest is a regular with us almost from the beginning of this program. He's a stalwart in the Woodstock and McHenry County musical scene. I mentioned a little earlier that he knows the words and even some of the chords to just about every song since I was 3. And I'm not sure how old that makes you, Andy, but you must have been studying early on. So did you learn most of this stuff off of 45s or albums?
45. I still got them all too.
No kidding, and they don't stick together? And
I
they
was
still
playing
play?
them. I was playing them last night, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's amazing. I'd like you to welcome, along with his cohort and oftentimes collaborator, Gloria Birchfield. A warm welcome for Andy Andrick, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. This is a little song I wrote about the wonders of technology. Well, I met her down at the tool bar. She was drinking double clicks on her rocks. She had a fine looking spreadsheet my pop-up couldn't block. I initialized the conversation. She gave me a max of my smile. I said, I hope you don't give me a virus. And then I unzipped my file. And when I pulled out my input device, she showed me where to plug it in. She did the download from my hard drive, and I launched my floppy again. Now she's found a new service provider. I'm sorry I made her my wife. It's too bad I had to meet her out control of the leader. Then I'll reboot my life. And then I'll reboot my life. Well, I tried to minimize my software, but she gave me a laptop with stands. She said, I see you refreshed your browser. Is that a joystick in your hands? Or are you just happy to see me? Can you copy and paste me all night? When I started the cursor, she gave my digits a megabyte. And when I pulled out my input device, she showed me where to plug it in. She did a download from my hard drive, and I launched my floppy again. Now she found a new service provider. I'm sorry I made her my wife. It's too bad I had to meet her out control of the leader. Then I reboot my life. Then I reboot my life. Thank you very much. I worked long and hard on that song. If I can't finish it in 15 minutes, I give up. And now for something a little more serious. My good friend Gloria Birchfield and I will do this old Everly Brothers song.
Woodstock Roundup is brought to you by the fine folks of the Starline Factory, home of the Woodstock Roundup radio program, the Starline Cafe Grill, numerous artist lofts, an eclectic artist gallery, Fourth Fridays, and full conference, wedding, and reception facilities. For more information, they're at starlinefactory.com.
We've got a little something different for you tonight. But before we start, I'd like to introduce the cast. As you might have noticed, all you here in the studio audience, we've got a huge cast with us tonight. And I want to make sure you know who everybody is. Playing our narrator tonight, Mr. Al Baranowski, everybody. As Mrs. Dingle and as Kimmy Shortlips, our own Kate Moretti. As Mayor Bill Stuffshirt, Herbie Warner down there at the end. Playing his assistant deputy mayor, Mayorette Annie Way, is our own Chris Stadler. Playing dear Judge Gruber, our own Don Hubbardson. Playing Kenny is our own Jerry Haig, and his dear wife Allison is playing Mrs. Gruber and that infallible Siri. We seldom have a chance to do this, but tonight the Woodstock Roundup radio program presents a recreation of that immortal story, The Great Man Votes, based on a short story by Isaac Asimov entitled The Franchise, and ripped off most recently, before we got to it, by Kevin Costner in a seldom-seen classic called Swing Vote. We like to call ours... Don't you love it? The Recount, the most important girl in town, and a few other things. Our story takes place in a town such as this during an election, much like the last one, to some people, much like the people you might have voted for, and with gadgets very much like that thing sitting right in front of you that you're probably messing with right now. But any similarities to actual people, places, things, or artificial intelligence as well, that's strictly besides the point.
It was a dark and stormy night. Stormish? Well, let's just say it was very, very humid. There was a sharp knock at the door. A grumbling old German man huffs and slowly, hauntingly makes his way to the door.
Who could that be at this late hour?
I would suggest, if you're so damned curious, that you consider getting off your dead ass. Oh, hooray. We're being roused from our beds by over 60 comedian.
Could be ghosts. They'd still think that stuff was funny.
The oak doors swung wide to reveal a woman, obviously nervous and possibly a little drunk.
Judge Gruber, I'm so sorry to drop by like this. I hope you liked my knock, though.
Very hilarious, darling. Good night.
Oh, not so fast. Something wrong, Mrs. Dingle?
Judge, they all voted.
Who all? They were supposed to vote, no?
100% all, Judge. We're swamped, and we don't even know who won.
The clearly shaken woman went on to explain how it was like a tsunami, she guessed, having never seen one or having lived thousands of miles inland for her entire life. Yes, sure, just like a big wave, especially once school was out, she related. And it was now completely up to the local judge, old Judge Carl Gruber, to sort it out. So up they packed and headed toward the counting center. But across the county, in the back room of a local steakhouse,
I will not concede to anybody, Kenny.
Neither will I, Kenny. Why should we? We all have 50%.
Never fair. Kenny's here. Yeah, you both have 50%. The trick's gonna be seeing that you keep it.
We'll return with part 2 of tonight's fantasy concoction of the recount. I should have had the tuna in a moment.
This portion of the Woodstock Roundup radio program could be brought to you courtesy of
Your company, or maybe yours.
Or yours there, no, you, look here, look at me, yes, you, the one that's sitting next to the lady with the obvious crush on Dan Zinebeck.
To have your company's name affiliated with this community.
You're actually underwriting McHenry County as it moves past the first big challenge of the 21st century.
And on towards the next, into its future.
Please help us to continue tonight's conversation well into the future by becoming a member or a member underwriter of Harvard Community Radio and the Woodstock Roundup radio program.
We can't keep going without you.
Please join us today. Just visit us on Facebook at the Woodstock Roundup.
HarvardCommunityRadio.com.
Or you can sign up here today with our show, live from the Starline Factory.
Public radio.
Not a lot of money.
And a pretty nice mug. We make a point of doing that before our break every time we go into break, and it's never been more pertinent than it is right now. We're coming into our last couple of shows for the season here. We've got a heck of a lineup for you for the Thanksgiving show, and an even better one, if that's possible, for our Christmas show. One of our guests for that show, the centerpiece of our Christmas show, will be a local storyteller who's well-renowned throughout the United States. A man by the name of Jim May will be joining us to tell us a Christmas story for that show. So I want to let you know that we're trying really hard to do a show for you, but we are coming up short funds-wise. So, and not to put too fine a point on it, but it's more than just time filler on this thing, and I'm afraid if we aren't able to really pull it together shortly, that these last two shows may be our last two shows. So, on that happy note, we have reached our break in the program, though. We want to encourage everybody to get up, enjoy the bistro. My God, I can smell the burgers and smell the other stuff. Please avail yourself of some of that stuff. We have the incredible Helen Lindquist joining us here for a little break song, and our special guest artist will be coming up real shortly. But please, a warm welcome here for Helen Lindquist.
Love ain't for the faint of heart, the timid and the weak. Pour me one more on the rocks, and baby, we'll just see. We'll start a fire, pour the wine, slip on in to these arms of mine. Love ain't for the faint of heart. Love's for you and me. Ooh, what a rush when you kiss me that way. Ooh, your touch is gonna drive me crazy. Ooh, what a night this has been. Baby, let's do it again. Love ain't for the faint of heart. Love's for you and me.
Chris, everybody. She and the band will be back in just a minute. During the break, we've become really pleased to be able to bring a lot of the Starline artists from the galleries and at the other end of the building over to exhibit for us. And we had a little bit of a mix-up this week in terms of being able to get anybody to do it, but we were fortunate enough to find in our own midst an artist in the rough. If you would, please, a warm welcome for our own Jerry Haig, a budding artist. So Jerry, I can see that you have a few things to show us. How would you describe, let's say, your technique and your style?
Well, first of all, Joe, thanks for giving me this opportunity to highlight a few of my favorite works. My work has, of course, has evolved over the years. I would categorize it as mixed media, and I like to provide texture that's palpable and thought-provoking.
So texture, who's your inspiration?
One word, Joe, Van Gogh.
Well, it's probably two.
Figure of speech, Joe.
Okay.
Ever since I was in kindergarten, which is where I began my artistic journey with the lost, I would call the lost technique of macaroni art. Van Gogh has touched my soul. I sign all my work simply Jerry. And this is an homage to Van Gogh, who signs his work Vincent. Now, he did that because he was afraid that the patrons that were looking at his beautiful works of art would not be able to pronounce his last name, which they couldn't. And so, as an homage to him, I simply signed mine Jerry.
Well, that was that Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
They would probably continually spit on
Right,
his painting.
now I have a name that's also mispronounced quite often. I get Hage a lot, like Page, but no, it's Haig.
It's not Hage?
That's why and I was a bit, it bothered me a little bit, but I'm over it now because now I just sign Jerry.
Well, and that is great, Jerry. I see that you've done that here. Can you show us one of your pieces? Maybe give us a little tour of its inception and the techniques.
All right, Allison is going to help me out here. This is one of my earlier pieces. It's called Sun. And notice it's titled S-O-N, not S-U-N. You see what I did there?
I did.
That's thought-provoking. One thing I like to do is to elicit some higher order thinking for my patrons that are viewing these works. It's fun to see people's mental wheels turn as their eyes pour over the work.
They're turning.
Notice this area right down here, the lower left.
Yeah, lower left for our audience at home.
Yeah, if you look closely, you'll see that one piece is apparently out of alignment.
You're right. I thought it was me.
Yeah, for the listeners at home, and for those that might exhibit a bit of OCD, this is an area of special interest in this particular piece. Also, my interest in use of color can make the viewer ponder things that are not directly related to the work itself.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, they might wonder. What this piece,
the black piece,
black right there is.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
That's a sunspot. But see, that might lead to some higher order thinking and some thoughts about something other than totally unrelated to the work, and sort of maybe liver spots or oh, I love my dog Spot.
Oh, Spot.
So you see where I'm going here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Do you have another one?
Right. Yeah. This next one, I call this one Moon. Notice the background color, and I think this helps to pave the way for the viewer of the piece to feel the general mood of the work. Noticing about this one, Joe?
You can call me John.
Is that Joe?
One of the pieces is backwards on this one.
Exactly, wonderful, you noticed it, yeah. It's kind of a thematic riff through many of my pieces of work, yes.
Where's that black piece?
Well, you see, it's over there.
Oh.
You can't really see it because the background is
black.
black. Yeah. Plus moons, they don't have sunspots anyway, so
That's
it's in the
true.
background. It's kind of like Where's Waldo?
It kind of is if Waldo's macaroni.
Right.
You're right. Anything else? You bring anything?
I have one more piece. This one's called Gregory.
That's That's a thought-provoking title. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a picture of a house.
That's right, yes.
Why is it titled Gregory?
Well, one of my favorite recently off-the-air shows was House. And I identified with his philosophy of treating people as pawns in his little game of diagnostic medicine. That's why I titled it Gregory, Gregory House. So that people would scratch their head and say, what the? And then I see the mental gears click in, and then it's so satisfying for me to see that they finally get it.
These pieces are fascinating, Jerry. I have to ask, just for the sake of our audience here, would you part with them? Are they for sale?
Why, yes, of course they are. Right. My pricing structure is very...
Store them anywhere nearby.
That's right. They're only sold at the Woodstock Roundup radio program. All the items, regardless of the amount of time and effort and work that goes into them, are all the same price. $400.
Sold any?
Well, Van Gogh never really sold till after his death.
Well, that's true, and it sounds like somebody's thinking there. I thank you, Jerry, so much for bringing this lovely artwork with you tonight. Please, everybody, a warm welcome for our buddy artist, repertory Jerry Hay. I do want to remind you that we generally tend to have the more serious artists here with us, and the next show on the 23rd, we will actually be trying something a little different. We'll be bringing you an artist collective from the Tucson, Arizona area, and we'll be doing slideshows from their collected works and interviewing them over the phone in an effort to give you some place to go, you snowbirds who are headed down to the sunny climes of Arizona and might be around the Tucson, and a really interesting place called Bisbee, Arizona. So that'll be in 2 weeks, so I hope you look forward to that. But in the meantime, we got all the macaroni you can eat here, so.
Careful with those.
Once again, we got another song coming up. Helen Lindquist, everybody.
Like this galloping inside of me, tossed by instinct from where we land, is fast and certain of all that's planned, pulling back the reins, trying to remain tall in the saddle.
Helen Lindquist, everybody. We're so pleased to have a lot. Helen and a lot of the performers are local area, McHenry County, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, sometimes Indiana. You guys ever go to Iowa? They got casinos in Iowa. Thought I'd mention it. Apparently they have them in Iowa, or Indiana as well. So, on that cheery note about love and loss, what song you got for us?
Well, you know, when it first starts, in a couple of months, this weather's going to seem temperate, but when it first starts getting cold, it's like, baby, it's cold outside.
Baby.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
Hoping that you drop
so very nice.
I'll hold your hand just like
My mother will start to
beautiful.
worry,
What's your hurry?
and father will be pacing the
Listen to
floor.
that fireplace roar.
So really, I better
Beautiful,
scurry.
please don't hurry.
Well, maybe just a half a drink
Put some records on my light
the
bulb.
neighbors might think.
Baby, it's bad out there.
Say, what's in this drink?
No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew how.
Your eyes are like starlight.
Break the
I'll
spell.
take your hand, your hands.
I ought to say no, no, no,
If I
sir.
go a little closer,
At least I'm gonna say that I
what's the
tried.
sense in hurting my pride?
Really stay.
Baby, don't hold out.
Oh, but it's cold outside. I simply must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The answer is
Oh,
no.
baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
Lucky that you dropped
so nice, I know.
Look out the window at that
My
storm.
sister will be
Your
suspicious,
lips look delicious.
and brother will be there at the
Waves
door.
up on a tropical shore.
Maiden wants
How
wine is
sure your lips look
delicious.
delicious.
Well, maybe just a half a drink
Never
more.
such a blizzard
I've
before.
got to get
Oh,
home.
baby, you'll freeze out there.
Say, lend me a
It's
coat.
up to your knees out there.
You really got great.
Your eyes are like
What
starlight.
don't you see?
How can you do this thing to me?
There's bound to be talk
Making my
tomorrow.
lifelong sorrow.
At least there will be plenty of
You thought
time.
come on and die.
Let's get home.
Get over that old doubt. Ah, but it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside.
Thank you. And it is a club This is actually one that we learned for the last radio show by John Hyde.
last paycheck, gone, gone away. Gone, like the car I wrecked, gone, gone away. Gone, like a fifth of gin,
Gone, gone away.
gone, like the shape I'm in, gone, gone away. My baby gone away. Gone, like a Nixon file, gone, gone away. Gone, like my landlord's smile, gone, gone away. Gone, like a mist of her, gone, gone away. Gone, like the furniture, gone, gone away. My baby's gone away. Gone like the silhouette there by the bed where she undressed. Gone like the candlelight where we made love so sweet and right. Gone like the one last turn she took before I let it burn. Gone like everything I earned. Gone, gone. Gone, like my last paycheck, gone, gone away. Gone, like the car I wrecked, gone, gone away. Gone, like a fifth of gin, gone, gone away. Gone, like the shape I'm in, gone, gone away. My baby's gone
We are going to do us a little John Hartford song coming up in the next set, but in the meantime,
The recount had taken 3 days as volunteers checked ballots, checked addresses, checked precinct records, checked in with Little Caesars. 100% voter turnout and even 50-50 split was impossible, wasn't it? Somebody must have overslept, worked overtime, even just got stoned and missed it. All these papers on papers, how do they keep them straight? Wait a minute.
hey, Judge, excuse me, Judge, you know, I think I found it.
Yes, boy. What is it? What's in your hand?
Well, it's the mayonnaise soaked copy of the signature card for Lenny Prevost. You know, the delivery guy from the deli.
Oh, he is such a slob. But what a great salami and mixed tuna
yeah.
sandwich.
Oh, sure, no
So what about it?
Well, it's not his card that's important, Judge. It's what's stuck to it. On the back. It's Kimmy Shortlips, Judge. Where? No, Judge, her card. Judge, it's Kimmy Shortlips' card. She's the only person in the county who didn't vote. We just thought she did because her signature card was gone from the box. Judge, you could take her a ballot, and once she votes, it's gonna all be decided.
But old judges up for 3 days aren't exactly built for speed. And all that talk of sandwiches has made the old Judge Gruber mighty hungry. So while they detoured to the deli for lunch, Someone else, with a ballot in hand, headed out to search for Miss Kimmy Shortlips of the North End Shortlips. But no, Kimmy doesn't live there anymore, thought Kenny, as he rehearsed what he would say to her when they finally met again.
So, Kimmy, Miss Lips, short stuff, Kimmy. Somebody downtown screwed up. Yeah, and you, Kim Lips, you need to redo yours again. Nah, she ain't like that. Hey, you know, it ain't my job to talk her out of her sweet little vote of hers. That's the mayor's job. Hey, Siri.
Yes, Ken.
Siri, call Big Lunch Steakhouse.
Calling Bunch of Flowers Coffee House.
No, cancel. Okay, Siri, call Bill Stuffed Shirt.
Calling Aunt Gert.
Cancel. Call Bill Stuffed Shirt.
Calling Ernie and Bert. Balloons to the stars.
Cancel. Siri, call Big Lunch Steakhouse.
Calling Some Bitch Stole My Outhouse Septic Repair. Dialing information, there may be a small fee.
And so this went on for a long bit longer, until Siri finally informed Kenny he was only about a mile from the steakhouse, and as it was still sort of lunchtime, he might as well meet up with the incumbent mayor, William Bill Stuffshirt, and sidekick and deputy mayor, anyway. They would know how to persuade Miss Short Stack's lips, whatever. And once they were finished talking to her, thought Kenny,
I wonder what's the special at the Big Lunch today?
We'll return with the exciting conclusion to tonight's radio drama, The Recount. Just a minute on the Short Lips in just a little while, so be sure to stay tuned. But in the meantime...
You're listening to the Woodstock Roundup radio program on AM 1610, Harvard Community Radio. Stay tuned at 6:30 for Scott Briggs and the Starline Bluegrass Express.
As I mentioned a little earlier, our featured artist, songwriter for the month of November is a man by the name of John Hartford. John Hartford passed away here in the early 2000s of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, lived to the age of 63, but was probably one of the most prolific and independent guys you'd ever want to meet in the songwriting world, especially in the bluegrass world. He's credited by none other than Sam Bush for the beginnings of newgrass music, with a little album by the name of Aerial Plane. I was fortunate enough to meet him a couple of times. He was incredibly influential. I caught him early on in his career when he was still able to swing from the lighting towers at festivals throughout Illinois and the Wisconsin area. And Andy and Gloria are going to grace us with a tune of his now. Or Andy, one of you, the two of you are. Which tune are you going to do?
Well, Joe, as up to last week, the only John Hartford song I knew was Gentleman on My Mind, but didn't know how to play it. I was hoping that this month would be Lennon McCartney month.
Yeah, those little-known composers, Lennon and McCartney.
So anyway, last week I learned this song, and Gloria learned it too. It's called Going to Work in Tall Buildings. Someday, baby, when I am your man, and others have taught me the best that they can, they'll sell me a suit, cut off my hair, and send me to work in tall buildings, and goodbye to sunshine. Goodbye going to work in tall buildings. Now when I retire, my life is my own. I made all the payments, it's time to go home. And wonder what happened betwixt and between, when I went to work in tall buildings. And it's goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, and goodbye to you. I'm off to the subway, I must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings. I'm off to the subway, I must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings. Thank you. This is a song that I wrote.
Woodstock Roundup radio program is sponsored by the Harvard Community Radio, your window on McHenry County. HarvardCommunityRadio.com. Also streaming boldly, clearly, and in gorgeous stereo sound on your home and mobile listening devices at the TuneIn app, Harvard Community Radio.
All right, we'll do one more song for you today. We're going to feature Gloria on this song. We'd like to ask the cast members to sing some background vocals with us, and all you people in the crowd probably know this song too. So sing along, clap along, whatever you want to do.
Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Somebody told me that his name was Bill. Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Yeah, my heart stood still. Yeah, his name was Bill. And when he walked me home, did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? What he was doing when he caught my eye. Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Looked so quiet, but my oh my. Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Yeah, he caught my eye. Yeah, my oh my. And when he walked me home, did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Up at 7 and he looked so fine. Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Someday soon I'm gonna make it mine. Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Yeah, he looked so fine. Yeah, I'll make it mine. And when he walked me home, did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Did you run, run? Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run? Did you run, run? Did you run, run, run? Did you run, run?
Gloria, Gloria, thank you, everybody. We now return you to tonight's thrilling conclusion in our typewriter of terror series, The Recount. A minute on the short lips. Be sure to hang on to someone who smells real nice.
So, Kimmy, tell me again, what's good here?
Oh, Mr. Mayor, it's all good, you know. Unless maybe you're thinking of living past 60.
I tell you what, I just can't decide. Could be a Cobb salad or maybe one of them finely textured deep-fried hoagies. Siri?
Yes, Deputy Annie Way. Yes, Way, with 1,000 likes on Facebook.
Oh hell, meant to get her to quit saying that. Anywho, Siri, what's better, Cobb salad or deep-fried hoagie?
Better for what purpose, Queen Bee? Hoagie drippings can often be found as lubricant. In Indonesia...
And this, just as it looked like, might be a breakthrough for lunch order. Kenny burst in and with laser-like focus heads straight for the mayor.
Mayor, Mayor, Mayor! They figured it out.
Figured out what, Kenny? Did we win?
You want some coffee, Kenny?
Sure, thanks, Kimmy. Mayor, we gotta find...
You want to see a menu?
Sure, Kimmy, love to. Mayor, look, we gotta find... We gotta find you, Kimmy Shortlips!
Me? What's to find? You got me. Okay, who had the hoagie?
As Kimmy unpacks her tray and Kenny tries to decide whether to explain or order first, in walks Judge Gruber and some of the group from the counting center. The old judge is clearly in a mood.
I cannot believe they stay in business with that mayo. New law, no sandwich deliveries from there anymore, ever. The carry out only, and my, what do we have going on here?
Judge Gruber. Well, this is all very innocent, you know. You see, we were just having lunch, and Kenny...
Well, first the mayor, then the deputy mayor, then Kenny began to explain. Then a little squeak of recognition from Kimmy began to creep in as she realized what exactly they were all asking from her. The deputy mayor hints at bribes.
And you know, sweetie, there's way better gigs just up the street by our hall that a girl with your savvy could be doing. Just saying.
The mayor appeals to her better instincts,
And
we think.
you know, that last time I was in here, well, you know, I swear on your sweet little honor, I was overserved. Yet I paid for those broken porcelain penguins, and I'm pretty sure the 3 plastic swans...
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and certainly you pay for many more, in or out of office. But, Miss Shortlips, Kimmy, I'm afraid I must insist that if you intend to settle this and fill out this ballot, then please do it now.
Judge Gruber, I'd love to help you, but I didn't vote the first time because I didn't like the choices. I can't believe everyone else did.
So then, Kimmy, you won't be voting?
The group sat on edge, awaiting her reply. Then suddenly, she shot right up, pulled something from her apron pocket and said,
Siri, who is the bigger fool?
This question is not one I can answer without help, Kimmy.
Here, take mine, maybe this'll help. And Kenny offers his Siri to her. Again she asked, again she heard.
This question is not one I can answer without help.
One by one, and then 2s and 3s and half a dozen until every smartphone in the place was at the table and asked the same question.
Siri, who is the bigger fool?
The cell phone glow at the table was spooky to behold. The Siris, the Christies, the androids, they were all murmuring, locked in a Bluetooth dance of decision. The hum became louder and louder, and then suddenly stopped! And the table went dark.
Well, what the hell?
Wait, stop that now. No, it tickles. Who's put a tiny vibrating thingy in my robe?
Judge Gruber, is that your phone?
Yeah. Hey, here, take it. So sorry, I don't have one like yours. I have the flipper, for the talking. I didn't know about the tickling setting.
It's a text, Judge.
And as she started to read the phone, all the phones sprung back to life, whirling and glowing and humming and babbling on.
The answer to who the bigger fool is, the idealist, anyone who believes they will succeed where everyone else has failed.
The answer to who is the bigger fool? Anyone who thinks a phone can solve your problems. Crazy humans.
Okay, recount election. It is then.
I'm sorry, Judge. I just can't. These guys are all just pea-brains.
Oh, no problem, Kimmy. No way we'll get 100% twice, right?
Man does not live on bread alone. Beware the temptations of a gadget that glows. They weave and spin, and they pretend to be something more than a friend. Friendly, sure, check your contract. It's good to know how to find your own way back. Wikipedia.
And that concludes our radio drama. Roundup repertory players, everybody. Oh, Paul on the piano over the stage. Well, we had to try it once now, didn't we? Those things I referenced earlier in the show, they're actual things. There's an Isaac Asimov story, and of course, there is a Kevin Costner, so you can check that movie out if you ever wanted to. We're fortunate enough to have Big Fish back with us to do your Hartford song, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm reading my running order correct. Which tune did you guys pick, and have you known it more than for the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, we're going to do Where Does the Old Time Riverman Go?
A great one. Welcome back, Big Fish.
Swimming under the keel. Where does the old time pilot go after he stood his last watch? Does he fall by the ear of the man who steers, saying hold her on that notch? There's a gentle sneeze in the river breeze, saying son, I'm going to bed. And they light their pipes and go off in the night. Or was it the firefighters had? Still afloat on the old steamboat after he's gone from here. Where does the old time love song go after it's off the chart? Does it hang around like a distant sound that lasts through his broken heart? Does it then as a brand new track that's sure to bring your head? Or it might be old but it just went gold by Big Fish instead. Keep watch on the
celebration, everybody. Once again, I'd like to thank Andy Andrew, Gloria Birchfield. Murph Collins has been sitting in on the band with us here for a couple of nights. We want to end the show tonight with another John Hartford number. This is a song made more famous by Glenn Campbell, of course. It managed to, John Hartford was saying is that this gave him his life. He was able to continue as a riverboat captain. He was able to continue to pursue whatever music he deemed to his liking, because after Gentle on My Mind hit, he never needed to really write another hit song again. So, providing the honors tonight, our own Mr. Don Hubbardson. Take her away, Don.
Thank you. I can think of old Glenn Campbell when we did this too, struggling as he is, so let's do it for him and for the memory of John Hartford. It's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. That makes me tend to keep my sleeping bag rolled up and stashed behind your couch. And knowing I'm not shackled by forgotten words and bonds, or the ink stains that have dried upon some line. That keeps you on the back roads by the rivers of my memory, and keeps you ever gentle on my mind. I'm not clinging to some rocks and I ain't landed on some column now that binds me, or something that somebody said because they thought we'd been together walking. It's just knowing that the world will not be cursing or forgiving as I walk along some railroad tracks and mine. And you're moving on the back roads by the river
an all-new Thanksgiving show.
Knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. That makes me tend to keep my sleeping bag rolled up and stashed behind your couch. And knowing I'm not shackled by forgotten words and bones, or the ink stains that have dried along the stone line. That keeps you on the back roads by the rivers of my memory, and keeps you ever gentle on my mind. That keeps you on the back roads by the rivers of my memory, and keeps you ever gentle on my mind.
Number two, everybody. We're gonna hold off on the drawing. We've got a little something extra here tonight. We had mentioned that we wanted to do something regarding Veterans Day, which nobody wants to take lightly. The election tended to steal the thunder a little bit this week. Don and Merv are gonna grace us with a wonderfully poignant song here just to finish off the evening. We are off the air here now, just so that you know, not that it's going to matter one way or another, but I just wanted to say regarding this, I've been really lucky in my life. I've won the lottery at least 2 times that I know of. Not the mega ball, and not $5,000 a week for that kind of life things. First, I won it by being born here in middle America, in middle class, where we got good food, good God, let's eat. Second lottery I won, I was fortunate enough to win back in 1973 when the United States government decided that they were going to draft people by numbers. My number was 303, and like John Hartford winning the lottery with Gentle on My Mind, I knew that, like so many of my other friends of draft age who had come and gone and some hadn't come back, that going and being drafted into the Army was not going to be my fate. As recent wars, we have seen life-altering injuries and casualties in much less ideologically charged conflicts. And we now see a volunteer force along with armies for hire who brought us to defend our interests, and because it's kept at arm's length for most of our daily lives, we tend to think less about it. We must continue to honor our veteran service in our country as it becomes increasingly difficult for most of us to share their circumstances. Our best case scenario is to have no veterans to honor, as wars will have become extinct. Maybe you had a glimpse of that 25 years ago when the Berlin Wall came down and the Cold War ended and the nuclear fear fell from our shoulders. But sadly, we are too surly a species to get along very easily, so wars will continue. We honor those who served and respect those who will choose to fight for us in the future.
I got your letter today, and I miss you all so much here. And I'm counting the days till I get to see you. I still believe that there's gold at the end of the world. I'm coming home to Illinois on the day after tomorrow. It's so hard and it's cold here. I'm tired of taking orders, and I miss old Rockford town up there by the Wisconsin border. The things I miss you won't believe: shoveling snow and raking leaves. And my plane will touch down on the day after tomorrow. I close my eyes at night and I dream that I can hold you. They fill us full of lies everyone buys about what it means to be a soldier. I still don't know how I'm supposed to feel about all the blood that's been spilled. Only God on his throne will get me back home on the day after tomorrow. You can't deny the other side don't want to die any more than we do. What I'm trying to say is, don't they pray to the same God that we do? Tell me, how does God choose? Whose prayers does he refuse? Who spins the wheel? Who rolls the dice on the day after tomorrow? The summer sun, it soon will fade, and with it comes the winter's frost, dear. And I know we too are made of all the things that we've lost here. I'll turn 21 today. I've been saving all my pay, and my plane will touch down on the day after tomorrow. And Tom Waitson, thank you very much.
Robertson, Rick Dyer, guys with bad eyes. Thanks for bearing with us on that. We certainly didn't want to neglect it. So, thanks very much. We're going to do our drawing now. Here, I should do it. I'm ready.
For a really nice one.
A really, really nice
Woodstock Roundup radio program.
You can't read it.
I can. Ed McGarrigle. Ed?
Raise your hand.
Come on, where's Ed?
You must be present.
You must be present to win, okay.
You don't want to leave early, just no
Yeah.
matter what we're doing.
All right,
Stick
we'll
around.
try
and
it
watch.
again. We'll try it again. 1 second. Ed McGarrigle. Nice try, Jerry. Dave Lee. He must have left with Ed. All right, let's try. Larry Winters.
Thank you, Larry. Invite us over for coffee some morning. We really like drinking out of this mug. We want to thank you all for coming out tonight. We know the weather's getting a little cranky out there. We're back in 2 weeks with some really great stuff. Please tell your friends and bring them with you. Yeah. Thanks again. Drive safe. We'll see you soon.